Hey, what's up, nerds and all you alien lovers? Hey, if it's one game I love more than anything to find my childhood, it's Mass Effect. I've been a BioWare fanboy since I was fucking 12. And Mass Effect, it's the most awesome sci-fi role-playing game I've ever played. It's better than SWTOR, it's better than, as much as I love Star Wars: Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic, this game takes the cake. It is so many genres and stories mixed into one. Alien, Babylon 5, which I will be talking about in this video review, Starship Troopers, all the sci-fi nerd shit that defined our lonely high school years, put into a blender, fucked to infinity, and you get the what should be a mutant offspring. You get, in fact, a glorious piece of art. A game that's all about story, character, the full of alien cultures, full of conflicts, history, lore, choices, and how your choices affect the galaxy, you know? There's questions whether those filthy artificial intelligences have souls and lives, and you can commit alien genocide. Hell fucking yeah. It's a universe full of aliens, various species, conflicts, histories, choices, politics, and you get to define the galaxy. You get to decide the fate of entire civilizations, wars and conflicts, relationships, love triangles. Unfortunately, there's not a mechanic like there is in Dragon Age Origins. Giggity. But no, there's like you get to look. You can tame the alien space woman. Okay, you go on all these sci-fi adventures. You fight alien hordes. You go to alien bars. You get drunk. There's so much role playing in Mass Effect that it defined a genre. It defined a generation of nerds like I did, and it is one of the funnest games ever. It asks deep cosmic questions. What is life? What is human? What is real? And it's sci-fi at its best. It is a sci-fi epic where you get to explore what humanity is, what it means to be sentient, what is life, what is. And the aliens are so human, and that's something else that I love about Mass Effect versus Halo. The aliens have their own cultures, their own beliefs, their own histories, and you get to interact with that and explore that and get to interact with all these different cultures. It's like Star Trek or Babylon 5. I love it. So many choices you can make. You can be a bastard, a renegade bastard, or you can be a paragon, Captain Kirk sort of card. Boring and gay, but still, it's fun. The character you can create with Mass Effect. Shepard is just one of my favorite characters I've role played with of all time. The choices you make, the relationships you develop, the people you have in your life, your squad mates become a family. You get your own ship, your own crew. You're a special forces operative for the Citadel Alliance, the Citadel Council. You're a space marine wiping out the alien hordes and committing acts of genocide. Hell, fucking yeah, Gady. But no, there's all these choices you make that determine the fate of the galaxy, that determine what the galaxy will look like. Will it look like a militaristic dictatorship? Will look like a galactic egalitarian democracy? You know, you get to make these choices, and I really do respect that about Mass Effect. Just the sheer, not just what you shape your character to be, but what you shape the galaxy to be. And the relationship dynamics, the relationships you develop, the friendships you form with your crew, the loyalty missions, shaping them, turning them into either better people or scarred people, militaristic, cold-blooded murderers or empathetic healers. And just that sheer impact you have on the universe, it's something that KOTOR did somewhat, but it never really got to the point Mass Effect was at. And I love that about Mass Effect. I really do. And the customization in this game, the combat abilities, your appearance, it's fucking good. And like I said, you get to wipe out the filthy alien abominations, wipe out the AI, because the AI is not real. I'm sorry, AI is not sentient. Well, then again, Black Banana joking, what is life? Could AI become a fully functional sentient being? You know, and that's a question that gets begged often again. And another thing I loved about Mass Effect was the ancient civilizations and the cycles of wars, creating artificial intelligence that overthrows the creators, overthrow the created, and how there's this infinite fucking galactic cycle that happens throughout the universe, throughout billions of years, where ancient civilizations create artificial intelligence, overthrows them. Then you get the Reapers, which are galactic Armageddon space squid dildo machines that wipe out all life in the universe every 50,000 years. And they're this unbelievably dangerous, evil, cosmic threat that is one of my favorite. They are literally Space Machine Cthulhu, which I fucking love. They're the bringers of the apocalypse, and that's metal as fuck. I love it. And the Geth. I mean, can we get an F in the chat for Legion for my favorite robot artificial intelligence of all time. I love Legion. But no, in all seriousness, Mass Effect really shows all the various different cultures of the galaxy, the conflicts, and the endless wars. Like the Geth Korean conflict is no different than the Israeli-Pakistani conflict. There's real politics at war in a lot of the conflicts between the different races. The Krogan were genocidal alien warlords, but they were given a sterility plague that fucked up their entire culture. And it makes you think, what are the consequences? Should I give this species a second chance? Should I play it safe? There's really hard political consequences like that really carry out full-blown genocide of entire civilizations if you play it the wrong way. There's hard choices to be made, and there's a lot of fucking gray in the Mass Effect series about what was the best choice, and you gotta live with that. You gotta live with that. But I mean, like, the Krogan were a genocidal alien warlord empire, but they're given a sterility plague. Was it worth it? Was it right? I don't know. I mean, you see both sides of the fence on this one. If it means saving the galaxy, is it worth it? And Mass Effect is really good at making you think about those consequences. RPGs like Mass Effect have given me a better sense of moral character than any, well, morality teaching from like secular school, college, or Jesus free cults ever have. You know, Mass Effect is a way to really test out who you are, the choices you want to make, how you interact with people, how you go about relationships, but not taking that too seriously, but how you treat people and how what's it teaches you how to look at people and how you should be if there should be empathetic both towards the individual or a culture, or if you should be harsh, you know, and it really teaches you how do you interact. For a bunch of autistic kids like I was, it was like a really good way to figure out social skills. Role-playing games like Mass Effect really make you think about people, about individuals, about species, about cultures, about religion, about history, about ethics, military and geopolitical, and I really appreciate that about Mass Effect. And like I said, do you wipe out entire species or do you give them the chance to rebuild and like learn from their mistakes? And this also applies to individuals, you know, be that you're friends with, that you're crew with. And Mass Effect really tests what kind of captain you're gonna be of the Starship Normandy. You know, are you gonna be the Picard or are you gonna be the freaking Mal Reynolds or are you gonna do something in between? You know, it really makes you think and really makes you act. You can do so much with Shepard and make him into whatever you want to be. Although I do think it's cringe when there's a bunch of incel neckbeards out there who think being you should roleplay as Commander Shepard in real life. I really don't agree with that shit. It's role playing people. It's a role playing game. Don't repeat the Satanic Panic. It's a role playing game. Don't take it too seriously. But no, Mass Effect really focuses on cultures, civilizations, histories, you know, and how you're in the middle of this galaxy full of numerous alien empires all trying to like work together or at war with each other, you know, and you're trying to like figure things out and choose who to side with, who has the most resources. And that becomes a really huge theme in Mass Effect 3 when you're dealing with the Reapers, like galactic alien Cthulhu armada that with billions of super dreadnoughts invade the galaxy and cleanse it of all life. And you're facing this threat, this looming fucking apocalypse for 2 games, and you gotta make the choices. How do I fight these things? What is worth sacrificing to save life, all life in the galaxy? You know, it's really makes you think about what you're gonna do to prevent the apocalypse, to prevent galactic Armageddon. You know, and that's a looming threat throughout the entire trilogy, and it makes you terrified. Who do I make my ally? What choices do I make to prepare the galaxy for this galactic, extragalactic alien invasion? And you make a lot of hard choices in the first 2 games trying to figure that shit out. Honestly, Mass Effect gets really fun when you start going to the space bars. Mass Effect 2 is where things get kinky, weird, and just edgelord as fuck, and I fucking love it. I mean, I love the characters in Mass Effect 2 probably the most. Mass Effect 3 had the massive galaxy-wide war thing. Because once again, alien genocide has never been better when you have this kind of technology. Am I right? Am I wrong? And Mass Effect 1 just had the great alien ruins and nostalgic nerd vibes and taming the alien priestess. We all wanted that, you know? We all wanted to get in that bubble and tame the alien woman, alright? We all wanted that. The Mass Effect really offered a great way to create a massive sci-fi universe you can explore and just have fun in and really shape the character and shape your friends and form friendships and companionships and like really gave a really good introduction to a very dark electronic 1980s, 90s space opera you could explore. And it was highly inspired by other shows like Babylon 5 and Alien. And I love that about Babylon 5, especially, which is a show which is all about alien empires, the evolution of life in space on a civilizational level, the various different cultures and the conflicts, the shadows, the Vorons. And Babylon 5, the meta text is it's a massive war between order and chaos and two ancient alien races that represent that, the shadows and the Vorons, which are these ancient alien races that create entire civilizations and nurture life just to play as proxy wars in their endless chess game of order versus chaos and the evolution of life in the galaxy. I fucking love it. Once again, Babylon 5 really, once again, was the Mass Effect TV show of the 90s with the various alien races with their histories, their conflicts, their politics, and how Babylon 5, the space station, was literally the Citadel as well. A massive international galactic peacekeeping space station where all the various races and cultures got together and there's trade, there's commerce, there was religion, there was all these spiritualities and magics and mythology that went into Babylon 5 that really made you think about what it is to be human. Once again, what is it to be human? And does the same thing apply to aliens? Are aliens so foreign to us, so different than us? And once again, what I like about Babylon 5 versus Star Trek, it's human. Humans aren't some perfect space tanky fucking commie douchebags listening to Galileo music and like getting high and having sex with an alien space log. That's not gaiety for me. That's not that I'm not even I'm on board with that kind of gaiety. Is the Star Trek humans, the Federation are just a bunch of fake and like labeled the humans from Star Trek. Cultures and different beings, their mythologies, their cultures, their personal histories. I mean, honestly, Babylon 5 would have been a perfect video game. I'm glad Mass Effect took some inspiration from it. And another thing I liked about Babylon 5, it wasn't afraid of spirituality. It wasn't afraid of philosophical conversations are, that were human. Star Trek felt too spacey, utopian, communist, fucking jerk fest 24/7. Babylon 5 felt human. It really focuses on the evolution of humanity and how we continue evolving. But even 200 years in the future, we're still so human. We still have like corporations. We still have religion. We still have spirituality. We still have a lot of modern day culture from the 21st century in the Earth Alliance. And we see aliens joining a Christian fucking church and singing freaking hymns. We see that massive scene where when they're showing all the religions of the galaxy at the Babylon 5, that all the religions of humanity are still intact. I love that. That's diversity done right. That's diversity and respecting every culture done right. Babylon 5 was good at that. It was pluralism and the melting pot of all these different cultures interacting with each other, mixing together and forming relationships and friendships with different viewpoints. That I really respect about Babylon 5, more so than I respect about Star Trek. Because humans are still human, we're still spiritual, and we're still what makes us us in Babylon 5 versus Star Trek. And the end of the series, when in Babylon 5, when the Shadows and the Vorons forced the civilizations to choose order versus chaos, they said, no, fuck you guys. We'll make mistakes. We'll forge our own destiny. We'll end this endless cosmic cycle and make our own choices, even if we go extinct in the process. And that's just the ultimate ending to a sci fi setting. And then there's Mass Effect, which took so much DNA from Babylon 5, with the Citadel being literally so much of that show went into Mass Effect. I love it. The good sci-fi is never meant to be unrelatable, but there's always gonna be like so many elements of the culture you're in that you're gonna feel comfortable and you can feel like this is a foreseeable future that we could be or find ourselves in like a century or two. Diversity, diversity. Fit from where we are in the current time. Like this, good sci-fi always makes it if what we're doing is ethics, economic. It makes you think the big cosmic questions about the evolution of a species, morality of science, and my favorite line from Jurassic Park: "Just because you can doesn't mean you should." In Mass Effect and good sci-fi, that's the cornerstone and one of the core principles of modern of true sci-fi. It makes you think. It makes you wonder. Makes you look at the stars and wonder what could be out there. Could there be something out there looking back at you? Hence the Reapers, the darkness in between the stars, you know. And sci-fi really makes us awed and fills us with wonder and magic in its own way. But it also has terrifying aspects. And Mass Effect is really good at that. It's really fucking good at that. You got the Citadel, Alliance, Commonwealth, the Council, whatever you want to call it. This massive full of alien races from across the galaxy with all these characters. You have military officers, representatives from all the. It's like a galactic United Nations, honestly. It's a mix with the New York City and space. There's all these different alien races and cultures and side quests can go on. Character and it really adds depth to this universe. In fact, it matters because it's the most daring, bold piece of science fiction art I've seen probably in most of my life, and at least in the last couple decades. It's a saga that has you in the middle of a vast, diverse universe interacting with all these alien civilizations, these cultures, these organizations, these movements, these politics, and you're influencing it. You're part of it. You're advancing humanity in space. And what do you want the Alliance, the Systems Alliance, humanity to be known for? As a powerful military power that's aggressive? Or do you want to be known for diplomacy? You are representing the human character, how people see humans. And yeah, it's fun to beat the crap out of that bitch ass reporter and hit her repeatedly over the course of 3 games. I mean, as a journalist, I can respect that. I mean, fuck the media, dude. I mean, and it's fun. You can be an evil bastard and there's so much fun, but there's consequences to it. It's just because you're an evil bastard and you get a few shits and giggles for being a sadistic asshole, which is still fucking fun. You deal with the consequences of how people see humanity. You know, it's a really deep game that makes you think and makes you think about consequences. And there's a reason they call it Mass Effect. Mass Effect. There's a reason for that, and there's so many things in the universe that make you think about it. This game also how you're going to interact with all the other civilizations. You know, it's like humanity just now joining the Citadel Federation, and how are you going to interact with all the other races and civilizations and creatures and cultures? You know, it makes you think. Other aspects are like, and there's not too much of a mythological aspect to Mass Effect, but there is an aspect of this is a trilogy where all your choices come to a. I mean, in the games, Like Halo, it's a roller coaster ride. In Mass Effect, it's a massive road trip that has numerous detours and quests you go on, and like stops on the way, and hitchhikers you pick up and join your road trip with you. And I love Mass Effect for that. I love Mass Effect for that kind of storytelling. I really do. In sci-fi as core, Mass Effect is the offspring of the broken condom of Babylon 5 and Aliens and Terminator and all these sci-fi epics from the 90s having a massive nerdy orgy at the local furry con, and Mass Effect is the product of said orgy, okay? And that's how I see it. That's a really fucked up way of seeing it. But in reality, it's really what happened. Mass Effect is a massive like culmination of all these different sci-fi epics mixed into one. And there's so many references throughout the games, other IPs, other movies, other TV shows. And it's funny as hell. I enjoy it. Mass Effect is a series that really inspires you. It's the modern day Babylon 5 of gaming, all right? And even Babylon 5, which is better than most TV shows on fucking sci-fi Disney or science fiction. Babylon 5 is where the most TV shows are nowadays. As much as I love The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, or shows like Game of Thrones or Dune, Babylon 5 made you think. It was loving, it was kind, it was adventure. You grew with the characters, you saw relationships, and the characters were human. There wasn't, and they all came together to fight against the wars and conflicts. There was government corruption, there was politics that backstabbed and led to genocide, there were wars, there were and all these characters in the space station in the midst of a freaking galactic war, and their choices and how they came together as a family, as a culture, as a space station, and changed the universe and saved the galaxy. And there's so many badass women characters in Babylon 5 that I fucking love. But no, they united the galaxy in all its races against the corrupt forces, whether that be the Shadows or the Earth Alliance. And really, another aspect of Babylon 5 I really like is the sense of how you should not trust your government and how a democracy can quickly overnight become a dictatorship. And I'll be getting more into that in my next Star Wars video because May the 4th is coming out. Hell yeah. But Babylon 5, it's all about the evolution of humanity, and we never stop losing what makes us human. Unlike that fucking retarded shit that is the LA bloodstain that is fucking Star Trek, in my opinion. Um, but no, Babylon 5 really makes you think. It really invites you to a deep modern day space mythology. It's up there with Star Wars in that it's a modern day Iliad and the Odyssey with the stories it tells, the conflicts. There's episodes that just deal with day to day life on the space station, and then there's shit like the techno magi. There's the deep mythology of Babylon 5, the various religions, the various forces of the universe, elder beings, elder space gods, evil ancient space demons, space magic. I fucking love this. I wish there were more shows like that nowadays. But yeah, Babylon 5 really explores a very human evolution of the human race. It really shows aliens are just as human as we are, and sometimes even more, and how all these cultures work together and they intermingle the various viewpoints and mythologies that Babylon 5 is intermingling with. And the hard philosophical questions asked: do you choose extreme freedom and chaos, or do you choose extreme order? And at the very end, they choose to define their own destiny and not be defined by ideologies. Instead, they said forge their own identity, which is take that, Jordan Peterson and ContraPoints, you fucking assholes who represent both the shadows, the evil demonic space demons, and the over controlling space Jesus freaks that are the Volrons. Take that, you fuckers. But no, Babylon 5 really makes you think. It's a deep space saga that I think is one of the best, probably the best space opera in human history. That's coming from a devout Star Wars fan. Good sci-fi should not be tied to well, I shouldn't say completely. Politics is definitely one of the biggest things sci-fi should be questioning and dealing with. But I feel like there's a difference between the way Babylon 5, Mass Effect, and Star Wars deal with politics, which is a more human mythological concept, whereas like most modern day sci-fi shows that deal with politics, with the exception of Andor. It's identity politics. It's a mindless, like, woke Hollywood bullshit, which is something I don't. And once again, I'm not. How do I say this? There's woke, which what the textbook definition of woke, which is something I agree with, which is being aware of all the people's issues and their and their pains and their traumas, and just being an uber super Jedi master level empath, and the Hollywood woke bullshit we deal with nowadays, which is a complete perversion of said concept. Come at me, you fucking idiots. It's nothing but endless identity politics and endlessly trying to one up people and endlessly trying to. It's a war of ideologies, is what woke has become. If you're talking about the actual woke, like what Mark Dr. King went through, I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard. Not the modern day woke of everything has to be representation, everything has to be obsessed about this fad or that fad. It's bullshit. And Babylon 5 was above said things. It dealt with politics in the way that true mythology deals with politics, which is the human element and not the cause of outrage. Babylon 5 dealt with real issues that society has was facing throughout the 20th century, and so did Star Trek, and so did Star Wars. It dealt with real conflicts, but it used the monomyth as a way of dealing with these issues and having the individuals, the Rebel Alliance few, fighting against the evil empire, the demonic space eldritch horrors, and defining and fighting against the impossible odds to fight for a better future. And that's why old school sci-fi is superior to most of the sci-fi shit on nowadays. Um, yeah, and that's just a long little rant I went on, but please excuse it. Real 90s and 2000s, early 2000s sci-fi dealt with real conflicts, real political situations, whether it be the war on terror or fascism or communism or whatever. We dealt with hard questions and we had the rebel few fighting against the evil ideologies that are causing war and conflict across the universe. And the people came together and fought for their cause, the right cause, diversity and equity and equality for everyone. And Babylon 5 represents that. Or the biggest version you can say Babylon 5 and Star Wars all represent is self agency and the rights of the individuals or group of individuals to fight for their own cause and fight for the cause of their communities and literally just fight the good battles and define themselves for themselves instead of being enslaved to the will of another or governments in this situation. And Babylon 5 really asks those questions, made you think about those, and really shows like how the rebel few saved the universe from oppression and tyranny everywhere and fought against the insane ideologies that were going to destroy all civilization. Babylon 5 really did a good job of that. Another space epic I'd really recommend for people is probably Stargate SG-1. That really dealt with that was just a fun show to watch while you're high. And Babylon 5 reminds us don't lose your humanity when you're in a universe full of chaos and war. Define yourself for yourself and don't surrender to the universe no matter how hard things get. Stick by your friends is another example of what Babylon 5 represented. Stand by your community, how an entire community college could save America from like apocalyptic destruction. Think about that one. That'd be a good idea for a movie series or TV series. That'd be awesome. But that's what I was saying about sci-fi. Babylon 5 is a good show, and it really paved the way for Mass Effect. I mean, the Earth Alliance, the Systems Alliance, same fucking thing, dude. Same fucking thing. The Citadel, Babylon 5, same concept, and I really enjoy that kind of storytelling. I really do enjoy the old school sci-fi that was put into Mass Effect. The concepts, the storytelling, the motifs, the endless like 1980s, 90s music, the 1980s, 90s aliens and like cultural motifs, like the aesthetics, the music, the environments. I really enjoyed that. Babylon 5 is also just it's stunning visually. It's just a piece of art for the puppetry and the aliens and the creature designs. I fucking love that series. And Mass Effect does a really good job creating really weird ancient alien ruins and alien worlds you can explore. And like the Omega is probably my favorite place in Mass Effect 2, or Ilium, and all these alien cities, environments you can interact with and go on quests and adventures in and have like weird fucking blend with the mercenaries. Mass Effect 2 got very visceral. It got very like gritty and like there's a warlike, and I enjoyed it for that. In general, the Mass Effect trilogy stands completely opposite to most games in the market right now, with the exceptions like new companies like Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate 3. These games actually do care are boundary pushing the way Mass Effect and original Dragon Age games were. But over time, like I think BioWare's kind of lost its edge. I really do. I'll do a review of Dragon Age Veilguard when I get the time. I'll probably be doing that before June. But Mass Effect just let it stand as the most boundary pushing gaming franchise probably in the last 20 years. And I really do respect what it did. And it feels like Babylon 5 to me. It feels like Babylon 5 meets Alien meets 24, and I respect that for it. And once again, good sci-fi is hard to come nowadays, but it's still out there, and you can find all these old shows online or on like Netflix or Hulu or Apple TV, and these are great shows worth watching, and they really can build your character and really take you along on the ride. And Mass Effect is just a fun game to really build the kind of create to role play and to build a character and to have choices that really carry on and make you really question. This is an endless platform for exploring and having adventures and role playing and making choices, and there's so much variety and endless adventures you can have in the Mass Effect universe. It's visceral, it's fun, the gameplay is edgy as fuck, and there's so many good games. And just make and how that shapes your characters. It gives almost near infinite replayability.
Let's do this, or we must draw enemy fire.
I really recommend Mass Effect. 3 had its really bad endings, but you know, Bioware back then actually gave a shit, and they gave him gamer output. Switch out their stuff at Bioware. And once again, play Mass Effect. It's fun. Even from like a fun gunplay standpoint, it's fun. The characters are fun. The adventures and the exploration is great. Give it a shot. It's one of my favorite optimistic in Mass Effect game, if it's good. But yeah, it makes you think. It's a fun experience. Well, until next time, folks, safe sending. May the force be with you. It's a little news for everybody. I have like 3 or 4 things I want, but we also let you see right now.
Get ready! More on the way!
Sound folks, safe sending. God bless. I'm gonna fuck the enemy first. But remember, in space, space bird.
Kaylee said she was putting out an SOS. I had no idea the king of the Boy Scouts would show up. All right, amp check. Prangley, those fields were weak. Cerberus isn't gonna lie down out of pity like that girl you took to prom. Grab juice and an energy bar. We move in 5. Damn it! How many times did I tell you not to trust Cerberus?
You're not telling me anything I haven't told myself, Jack.
Oh, you feel bad? Well, shit. I bet that's a big comfort to all the people Cerberus has killed.
She must have been a big help when you took down the collectors.
Okay, right now, all I care about is getting my guys out of here.
Your guys?
Yeah, I guess so.
I can't think of anybody who could care about them more.
Well, I had some free time while you were off